Hi, Coach Papadakis here. Going to introduce you to the next installment of our RamTough series. Every month we're going to release what our core values talk about, what it means to be RamTough. And that includes academics, that includes the weight room, that includes practice, that includes competition, that includes everything we talk about being a successful student athlete, a successful wrestler at UNC, RamTough. So every month there will be interviews of guys, there will be interviews of coaches, there will be live footage of the guys being RamTough and that component of that core value of what we're doing that month, whether it be weight room, whether it be conditioning, wrestling, academics, community, competition, whatever it takes to be RamTough, that's what is going to be in that monthly installment. But wrap it in a nice little bow for you, you need to understand where RamTough comes from. So, to kind of explain it a little better, I got a little video for you, come right after this interview, which is the origins of RamTough.
Trying to get out of. It's interesting to see Cole out. He goes right for the front headlock. That's right. He doesn't get it on the counter. Now he's in on the leg. Obviously he's aggressive. You see, he likes to go chest to chest if he can. Here he comes. Boom. Oh, man. What a tough wrestler he is.
Oh, he really is. And, right there, they were going against each other like battering rams, but you could see who was really RamTough right there, and that's Gary Colab, because he just doesn't fool around. Like I said, he's got his eyes on the Olympic battering rams, but you could see who was really RamTough right there, and that's Gary Colab, because he just doesn't fool around. Like I said, but you could see who was really RamTough right there, and that's Gary Colab, because
one of our core values on our RamTough is training. That's one aspect. We separate training and competition. We expect our guys, to all be, striving to become the best in the country. And this month, when the RamTough videos, we have the weight room, and you're going to get a glimpse of what it takes in there and what we expect from the guys, and you get to see them training. And it's a fun little video for everybody to get a little inside information on UNC wrestling.
Listen to my voice if you're making a choice. Tell all the girls and the boys, either scream or rejoice. Let's make that noise, either move or we will all be destroyed. Move and show me what you can do when you step into the circle and shake like we do. And move when you just can't take it, and move if you just feel like breaking. Can you hear me? Stop, look, listen to my voice. It was never my choice to feel all alone. This is my home. Back up, you don't know if you've never been here. You've never been to the place inside I face my fear. It takes everything I am.
Being RamTough in the weight room means being intense with every set, every rep, and always trying to better yourself, always trying to move up in weight, and always living a RamTough lifestyle.
Show me what you can do when you step into the circle and shake like we do. And move when you just can't take it, and move if you just feel like breaking it. Move and show me what you can do when you step into the circle and shake like we do. And move when you just can't take it, and move if you just feel like breaking. Come near me, stop, look, listen to my voice. If you're making the choice, tell all the girls and the boys, either scream or rejoice. Let's make that noise, either move or we will all be destroyed. And let go if you've never been here. You've never been to the place inside I face my fear. It takes everything I am. So just move and show me what you can do when you step into the circle and shake like we do. And move.
My name is Eric Hernandez, strength conditioning coordinator for the wrestling squad here. What it means to be RamTough in the weight room is to come in, do the small things right every single day, always pushing the envelope on everything we do. We train hard, we train smart, and we train aggressive.
RamTough in the weight room means pushing yourself as far as you can go, doing as much weight as you can with the right form, and being here on time. Those early morning lifts are tough to get to.
to the line, make it, break it, take it, until I'm overrated. Click, click, boom. In one moment, I'm going all the way. I make my poetry every day, and I'm closing, coming right on time. I close my mind with that serious rhyme, and I'm all in, coming up inside. You know my mind has got a grand design, and I'm flowing, going all the way. I make my point to be everything. Come on, and I wanna take you down, but your soul cannot be found. Doesn't matter much you say, 'cause all the scenes you made, and you know it's only right, 'cause it feels like my mind's broken. I'm going up in smoke. You can breathe my soul. I'm guaranteeing you choke, and I'm chosen to testify the masses. Where dark glasses like the cops in Texas. All knowing it's not a premonition. Kill the competition like a man on a mission. I'm blowing, coming up in size like the Bee Gees cry. I'm just staying alive. Come on, and I wanna take you down, but your soul cannot be found. Doesn't matter much you say, 'cause all the scenes you made, and you know it's only right, 'cause it feels like paradise. I know nothing.
What it means to be RamTough, it's basically an easy way to organize your whole life when you're at UNC. The guys already know what it takes to be good at wrestling. Most of them are scholarship athletes. They're state champs, national prep champs, have placed at Fargo, have won Fargo, have done some sort of wrestling in their past, and they know how hard it is to accomplish all that. So they know what hard work is. It's just transferring hard work in the wrestling room over to the classroom, over to community service, and just basically attacking life like you would attack the practice room. And for us, it's been awesome. It's been a great way for them to just get a hold of what it means to be a great student athlete in all facets.
What it means to be RamTough. To me, being RamTough means being ready for adversity at all times. Whether it be life, or whether it be wrestling, whether it be schoolwork, girlfriend, whatever. Adversity's coming at you. We know it's coming at you. If you're just sitting still, there's going to be adversity coming at you somewhere at some time. And RamTough means not necessarily just being ready for it, but expecting it. So in a wrestling match, it's constant adversity, particularly if you've got a good opponent. And RamTough to me means working so hard, training so hard, that you have the confidence that you're not afraid of adversity. You're ready for it when it comes. You're looking for it. You're anticipating it. You welcome it. That's RamTough to me.
So this month we're going to do a RamTough monthly, and it's going to be about conditioning. I personally like this aspect of it because I think the only way to replicate how tough wrestling is a lot of stuff that wrestling does in conditioning. It's going to encompass running stadiums, doing sprints in the room, buddy carries, everything that we talk about, conditioning-wise. I think it's the only way you can push yourself to that level of getting so tired and do it at a continuous basis is through conditioning. So that's why we're making a whole aspect of what it means to be RamTough in a conditioning aspect.
So RamTough and conditioning, this is how we look at it. You can go and do 10 sprints at the end of practice. And we always tell the guys, you can go and win a couple of the sprints. You can maybe win one, maybe two, maybe three. A guy who's RamTough is that guy who knows there's always going to be somebody who's kind of saving it for the end. And despite that, he gives 100% energy to get down the end of that wrestling room and back all 10 times and attempts to win all 10 sprints. You know, and sometimes that's an impossible task if you've been through, you know, a 2-hour grind session of wrestling guys, you know, battling, you know, for position, and then we put 10 sprints at the end. But that's what RamTough to me means, is that a guy's trying to win all 10 sprints, not saving it to the end and just being that guy on the last sprint wins it. All 10 is what he's trying to get.
Hey, I'm back. Yeah. With me, man, He-Man, Ski Man, spending next week's cash, he fast, and I don't even need a G-Pass, I'm past that, I'm passing them out now, and you can't have that, and my chain too can't Sam that, tropical colors you can't match that, gotta be abstract, you catch my girl legs open, better smash that, don't be surprised if she asks where the cash at, I see she wearing them jeans that show her butt crack, my girls can't wear that, why, that's where my stash at, I put my Mac down, that's where you lack at. She need a candle lit, and I'ma wax that. I rekindled the flame, she remembered the name. His Weezy baby, January, December, the same.
Being RamTough conditioning is pretty much just trying to win every sprint, every run. Pretty much everything I do, I'm competitive in every single aspect of like what I do, and conditioning. It's, you know.
Be hardworking, go as hard as you can every single go, never give up, try to beat your partner, try to beat everyone that's on the sides of you, and just give it your all any time and every time you go up.
They're back twice, and then switch.
Party ranks, war for
basically just trying to be first in everything you do. Whether you're heavyweight, lightweight, you're just always trying to improve on what you did the last time you did the run, or trying to be first in the sprint, improve on your stadium times. Just always pushing yourself to the fullest to try and get everything out of the workout.
You're asking me my opinion. I can only relate it to myself, and for myself, I started wrestling very late. Most people that I wrestled were more talented than I was. So for me, what was critical was being able to look across the mat when we're lining up at my opponent and be able to know, without a doubt, in my mind, to know that I can go longer and I can go harder than him. That my conditioning was far superior to his conditioning, because that was something I could control. I couldn't control my talent. Couldn't always control my speed. You know, a lot of that stuff is just God's gift to you. But my conditioning was something that I could control, and I made sure that I controlled that. So to me, what RamTough conditioning is about is being able to look across at your opponent and know in your heart, one, that I can go longer and harder than you can, and two, that there's nothing that I've done, said, or haven't done that will keep me from making you quit, from finding your quitting point. If that's sacrificing fun, whatever, during the season, then that's what it is. But that, to me, conditioning involves all of that. The sacrifices that you make and how hard you work. And when it comes right down to it, it's confidence, because all of that leads to confidence, and that usually leads to winning.
Month 3 of our series is academics. Very important part, because we are student athletes here and you want to graduate with a degree while you're trying to win a national title. I think it's a very valuable lesson. It's something that I took pride in. I was a good student when I was at Hofstra University, and we pride the same thing here. To be RamTough in academics means taking care of your schoolwork. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have a 4.0, because some people aren't fully capable of that, but it's reaching your potential. If 3.5 is your potential, you're getting a 3.5. You're going to class because you're not sacrificing that. So this way, when it's time to get extra drills in, when it's time to get the extra lift in, the extra run in, extra time in with your coach, you can, because you took care of your schoolwork. Your school, we're never worried about you academically, because your RamTough academics is taken care of, and you're being a positive person within the program, within our university, within the community, academically. So we're viewed in a positive light.
To be RamTough in academics, it's really the same thing as in wrestling. I mean, you've got to handle your business. Here at UNC, it's one of the top 5 public institutions in the country, so it's pretty tough, but it's all about understanding where your resources are and then committing to using them. You have an academic counselor, you have tutors for the majority of your subject coursework, so it's just understanding where your responsibilities are each day, developing a plan, and then getting after it. Again, same thing as in wrestling. There's a practice plan. You have a plan for for your match. It's the same thing with academics, day in, day out. And the important thing is, to be RamTough, you can't drop the ball on any one day, because when you do, you get behind, and then you're digging out of a hole instead of getting ahead. So to me, to be RamTough, understand what your business is each day, and then getting after it.
When we talk about academics with our guys, we still fall into those core values of what RamTough is. And so we tell them, I've got to be organized with my studying, so it doesn't interfere with training, so training doesn't interfere with studying. It's it's back and forth. It's got to be organized in their life, and when one of those decreases on either end, or a guy is not organized, you're going to see it affect his training habits, or it's going to affect his grades academically, and we expect him to be on top of all that stuff. And so at the end of the year, we look at all those categories and we want them to excel in all those categories that encompass RamTough.
RamTough academics, that's a tough subject, especially for wrestling coaches. What I would say is that I think it has a lot less to do. Most people think academics, they think about intelligence, and I think it has a lot less to do with intelligence and a lot more to do with conscious effort. I had a poster on my refrigerator when my kids were growing up. I use this saying all the time with my guys. Do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, then you can do what you want to do. That's RamTough academics to me. If you are putting forth the effort to get done the things that are supposed to get done first, then go have some fun, play Xbox, do whatever you want to do. Rather than the other way around, you're going to be successful. Bottom line.
RamTough academically just means getting your work done on time and developing good habits and working ahead.
To be RamTough academically, to me, means being tough enough to get yourself organized and get all your work done when you have to, and just putting in the hours you need to be accomplished in school.
Being RamTough academically means using all the hard work and motivation you have in wrestling towards your schoolwork to get it done on time and to the best of your abilities.
Fourth installment of RamTough Monthly is RamTough in Practice. Obviously, this is something that most people want to see, but it encompasses everything we talk about is being consistent. The most important thing we want to talk about is our intensity level being consistent all through practice, because that's what we want to transform into the match. It's taking the consistency of working hard, trying to score points for 7 straight minutes, and doing that in the practice over an hour and a half to 2 hours, so we can condense it and do it in a 7-minute match.
Some days I just wanna up and call it quits. I feel like I'm surrounded by a wall of bricks. Every time I go to get up, I just fall in pits. My life's like one great big ball of if I could just put it all into all I spit. Instead of always trying to swallow it, instead of staring at this wall and while I sit right as block, sick of all it. Can't call it. All I know is I'm about to hit the wall if I have to see another one of mom's alcoholic fits. This is it, last straw, that's all, that's it. I ain't dealing with another politic. I'm like a skillet bubbling until it filters up. I'm about to kill it, I can feel it building up. Club is building up, I've been sealed enough. My cup runneth over.
So we tell the guys all the time, make every second count. That's always a big statement that we make, the entire staff. We try to drill in their heads, but when we say make every second count in practice, that means when we're drilling and I take you down and my partner's still getting up, I pump my feet in between. When it's a water break, I'm finding time to get extra push-ups or a couple extra sets, or I don't take the water break. That's what we stress with the guy. You have to make every second count. You got to make every second count in life. That's the most important thing that you have, and we stress that with them is your time. You can't get it back. Make valuable use of it, and when you're in here, it's not going through the motions. It's about going down, and when we say 10 sprints, you're trying to win 10 sprints. When you're drilling, you're trying to be perfect, your quality's up, and you're trying to be the quickest guy in the room. You're trying to exhaust your partners in drilling. In fact, that's one thing I always tell them. I want to try to have a goal of going through 2 or 3 partners because they can't keep up with my work pace. And that's the way we expect them to train. Every guy on this team is not going to be a national champion, but they're expected to train like a national champion. That's one thing that everybody's even in, and that's a quality that they should be instilled by us. It should trickle down into the team, and that guys, when those guys that walk in here, it should reflect that to anybody who comes in to just peek in on practice and watch it. We should see a group of 40 guys in here that, train to be national champions and look like national champions, and their heads up, their heads not down. They don't walk around tired. They don't walk around exhausted. They don't look sloppy. They're busting their ass the entire time they're here.
Spills my guts. You think all I do is stand here and feel my well, I'ma show you what. You gon' feel my rush. You don't feel it, then it must be too real to touch. Feel the Dutch. I'm about to tear up. Goosebumps, yeah. I'ma make your hair sit up. Yeah, sit up. I'ma tell you who I be. I'ma make you hate me, cause you ain't me. You wait, it ain't too late to finally see what you close-minded, what you blind to see. Whoever finds me somewhere. punishment, and you're the master, and I am waiting for disaster. I'm feeling rational, so confrontational. To tell the truth, I am getting away with murder. It is impossible to never tell the truth, but the reality is I'm getting away with murder. I drink my drink and I don't even want to. I think my thoughts when I don't even.
Being RamTough in practice means always doing it the hard way. If you have an easy partner, always making sure you push yourself to get tired, or always finding the hard way to do an easy workout. If you ever find that you're relaxing and you're not working hard enough. Being RamTough means always doing everything 100% and making yourself exhausted so that when you're ready for competition, it's easy.
I never look back 'cause I don't even want to, and I don't need to, because I'm getting away with murder. I'm feeling rational, so confrontational. To tell the truth, I am getting away with murder. It is impossible to never tell the truth, but the reality is I'm getting away with murder. Getting away, 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 getting away is murder. Somewhere beyond happiness and sadness, I need to calculate what creates my own madness. And I'm addicted to your punishment, and you're the master, and I am craving this disaster. I'm feeling rational, so confrontational. To tell the truth, I am getting away with murder. It is impossible to never tell the truth, but the reality is I'm getting away with murder.
So what it means to be RamTough in practice is basically never giving the guy an inch. You know, in the drill, you're trying to keep as perfect position as you can keep, whether it's on your shots or on your defense. You're always focused on where his head is, where his position is going to be going next, so that he has to work everywhere. And in the live, like, it's about never giving him an inch, you know, never letting him put you where he wants to be. You have to wrestle where you want to be all the time, where you're strong, where you get your shots from, and where you can score. That's what it means to be RamTough in practice.
Only the strongest will survive. Lead me to heaven when we die. I am a shadow on the wall. I'll be the one to save us all. There's nothing left, so save your breath. Lying in wait, caught inside this tidal wave. Your cover's blown, nowhere to go. Holding your fate, holding it, I will walk alone. Fire your girls, it's time to run. Blow me away. I will stay beside me. After the fall, we'll shake it up. Show me the way. Only the strongest will survive. Lead me to heaven when we die. I am a shadow on the wall. I'll be the one to save us all. You wanted it back, 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 back.
RamTough at practice means getting extra reps in, getting here early, working hard before, get your sweat going, get with the best partners every single day, making yourself better, tiring yourself out, losing the kids that you shouldn't be losing to in the room. That way, when you get out there, you can expect it, make yourself better.
Being RamTough in practice is just going hard every go, pushing yourself, pushing your partner, and trying to get the most out of everything you do in here.
Our fifth installment of RamTough Monthly is community service. We've already went over weight training, conditioning, practice, academics. Again, we're doing a 6-part series, and 5 is community service, and next month will be competition. So, we try to have well-rounded student athletes here that cover everything, that are RamTough in every aspect of their life, and community service and how our program is perceived and helping everyone in the community is a big part of that. So, it's just as important as RamTough competition. So, I want to kind of give you an idea of what it means to be RamTough in community service. And I actually got this email about a week ago. Actually, Coach Mock received it, and it was for our guys. And instead of me kind of explaining it to you, I want to give you an example of our guys being RamTough in community service. The email reads as follows. Coach Mock, I just want to drop a quick line to let you know that 2 of your wrestlers are representing UNC with tremendous class. I was on a flight from Trenton, New Jersey to Raleigh after Christmas, and 2 wrestlers wearing their Tar Heel gear were seated next to a mother and her young child. The baby was making noise the whole flight and throwing things. But your young men were so nice and calm. They made a game out of it, played with the baby, and helped the mother with her luggage, juggling toys, food, etc. I know this should be standard behavior, but it is rare to see college students act in such upstanding ways. So I thought I would write to share with you that your men are representing the university in a fantastic way, which means you are coaching them to be not just great athletes, but great citizens too. I can't say I'm a big wrestling fan, but from now on I would definitely be pulling for the Tar Heels. All the best. I'll leave his name anonymous, but he is an attorney, and his name is on the building. So it's a nice connection to make. Obviously, affluent people seeing our kids being RamTough in the community only helps our brand and our name move forward.
To be RamTough in community service means that we're going in, we're helping in the community, and we're supporting the other teams. Just doing all those things that give back to the community, and that 365 mentality of where we're always working to get better in the room, not only to make ourselves better as a team, but also to take that same mentality and help the community around us. So what I do now that I can't wrestle anymore is I kind of set up all of those different events that we do, charities, 5Ks for causes, and that's the biggest thing that we're doing, so that's pretty much it.
Being RamTough in the community just means going out, giving back. We do the Walk for Education. It's really important for me to give back to this community, especially since I grew up here. And yeah, that's it.
Being RamTough and with community service means like giving back to the community, helping out. It feels good to get out, get involved, and help people in need. So.
To be RamTough in community service is just, we go to Carolina, I do Carolina outreach to get all kinds of events for our team to go to, and we go to do 5Ks, do clinics, just help out the community and get our name out there and try and get more support during our matches.
RamTough community service. What does that mean? I think it all starts with being thankful. I mean, this is a little corny, but I think it all starts really with being thankful. I don't think you can really give back unless you have a spirit of thankfulness about you. And as corny as that sounds, I mean, you know, we try to remind these guys all the time about being thankful. You know, it's hard to be thankful when you're sucking weight, it's Christmas time, you know, you're 2 pounds over, you're already dehydrated, and, you know, you've got a huge competition in front of you with a lot of pressure. It's a difficult environment to be in. And it's in those environments we need to step back and say, you know, hey, I don't have, you know, I'm not dying, I'm a healthy guy, I live in a great country, I've got a lot of great things and good reasons to be thankful. And it's in that environment, I think, that we can go out and do community service and be effective. When you're willing to take your time and give it to someone else, that's RamTough. It takes a certain level of toughness to do that, because there are things we'd all, let's face it, rather do. We spent a whole day, one day this fall, up at one of the schools with little kids in one of the community service events at the elementary school. It was a long, grueling day. But, you know, it takes toughness to do that and say, I'm going to take my Saturday and I'm going to go give it to somebody and do something good. So to me, that's what RamToughness is as it's applied to community service. It starts with being thankful, and if you're thankful for what you have, it's easier to go out and make commitment to other people.
The last part of our RamTough monthly series is number 6, RamTough competition. I don't want to say it's the most important, but it is. You do the other 5 things to help you in RamTough 6. You know, you do RamTough community service to put your team in a good light, so when you're out there competing, there's people watching you. You do RamTough academics, taking care of your academics, so when it's time to work out hard so you can compete well, you can do that. You do RamTough strength training, simple enough so you can be strong in competition. You do RamTough conditioning, simple enough so you can be in shape when it's time to compete. You do RamTough hard in practice, so you can be RamTough when it's time to compete. So this is going to be a bunch of videos of guys being RamTough during competition, and some interviews of other coaches and guys what it means to be RamTough during competition.
It goes 1 for the money, homie, 2 for the show. We told the roof off his mother, now it's time to blow. Like we don't need no water, don't bother, we let it burn. We keep the fire just a little bit hotter, that way you'll learn. Respect I earn, started with the click that I hang. Respect I earn, ever since I got in this game. Respect I earn, never wanted fortune or fame. I'd rather have these South Dago streets knowing my name. Checky check, microphone check. Checky check, microphone check. It's lights out.
Tough in competition is having this strong mentality and believing in all the training and work you put in it and translating it to the mat. And during the match, just keeping a high pace the whole time, staying focused, never taking breaks in the action, whether it's hand fighting or transition wrestling. You're always wrestling at a high pace and trying to break the other guy, and break his will, and just keep pushing and trying to get the win the whole 7 minutes of the match.
If you want it, you can check my stats. Lights out. Game over. Make way, cause the Kings is back. We bang boogie through your system, subliminal. We lyrical, murdering like we criminals. It's life or death, medical decision. We so dope out the lab that you need a prescription. The hood is listening. So for you that I wrote this, keep it underground, sticking to the streets like the homeless. With the dopeness, recognize the real POD. Cause we triple O, triple OG. Check, microphone check. Checky check, microphone check. It's lights out. Game over. If you want it, you can check my stats. Lights out.
Ramp Tough in competition means getting back to the middle before my opponent, outworking him in every position, scoring when I want to, and not letting him score on me, and just always getting out and winning every position.
Can't stop, won't stop. Where the brakes at? I give him that diddy bop. Like, take that, take that, take that, take that. I'ma put in work. I'ma do that ASAP. Throw my faith in rap. But it say, don't say that, huh? What I'ma turn down for? I feel like Shaq in 9-4. Breaking glass in that backboard. I like Kobe and Toronto, huh? Dropping 81. Yo, I dropped the 88. Ricky Bobby, shake and bake. Sleeping on it, should've stayed awake, huh? Everybody make mistakes like VJs. Tryna say my name, it's Minio. Say it with me, Minio. Okay, great, 2 forks high, raise the stakes. Risk it all, I take the hate. This the winning team, get the Gatorade. My guy good, but he's not safe, nah. They try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me.
Being Ramp Tough in competition is going hard for the entire 7 minutes or overtime and trying to score as many points as possible. Not trying to hold on by 2 points, or you're trying to see how much better you are than the guy, how many points you can score on. And that's what being Ramp Tough is in competition.
Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. You can't stop me. You're my biggest opponent. You know me, I know you, we know it. Whenever I fail, you always been there to simply remind me I've blown it. You don't see when I'm growing. You don't see where I'm going. You only see in the moment. You know my mistakes. You never let go it. Don't cease to amaze me, and it drive me crazy. Did you catch every detail that I missed in the songs I'm making? Saying you will never write a verse like Kendrick, never be the rapper I got from Hendrix. Top 10 alive, you will never be mentioned. Why aim so high, won't survive the trenches? Plus, you a Christian, Andy. They will never listen, Andy. Plus, we a pigment, Andy. You don't got skill, you a gimmick, Andy. Well, if I listen to you and everything you put in my ear, I'll be living like woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'll be paralyzed by fear. Ain't that the truth? If I quit, the only way I lose. I got 2 choices when I do this: make moves or make excuses. If you know who I'm talking about, then you got me. My biggest enemy is me, and even I can't stop me. They try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got.
When we talk about competing with the guys, we talk about in all aspects of being on the team. Competing, at the weigh-in. You don't show up to weigh-in looking like you're sucking weight. You show up ready to go. You look like you're not, cutting an ounce of weight. And you step on the scale and you look good. In the room, it's trying to win all 10 sprints, not just 1 or 2, or just be in the middle. It's being back first to the mat when you're out there competing, first on the line. You and the official waiting on your opponent to get back. So it's everything. It's having an intensity about you that shows up in every aspect of the competing side. In the practice room, in the weight room, cutting weight, and then in competition when you get out there. And we expect to see an intensity from the guys.
Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not enough. You can't stop me. If I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop.
Tough and competition. What it doesn't mean, let's say what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean to win. It doesn't have anything to do with winning. And that's one of the biggest problems, I think, is everybody translates toughness and being competitive to winning. We all like to win. Winning's important, but if you're focused on winning, you're probably going to screw yourself up, particularly in this sport. What you have to focus on is dominating your opponent, breaking him. That's what being RamTough is. It means getting after the guy and breaking him, being all over him, making him quit, hearing noises come out of him that are noises people make when they're in pain and they're ready to give up and they just want to go home. That to me is what we're shooting for with RamTough. We haven't necessarily gotten there yet, but that's what we're shooting for. That's what it means to me.